to another episode of the DewatchPod Black Mirror podcast. I am your host, Jorgen Smorgasbord.
And I am Jim with a G, another host who's been here.
That's right. And I'll be real honest, we are jumping into this just straight after recording.
I was gonna lie about it. I'll be fully honest. I was gonna say
I'll say you're a lie.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, so we started last week with this, and now we've returned to the recording booth. And we're doing
a real recording booth that we definitely have. We are continuing our missed potential tier list.
We would recommend you watch the first episode, but we'll do a quick reintroduction of the concept.
Yes, and of the tiers.
Of the tiers. The idea is we're not ranking on quality, we are ranking on how much missed potential each episode of Black Mirror has. Starting with, at the very bottom, we have the Metalhead 79 tier, Demon 79 being the second part, which is this does exactly what it says on the tin, and on occasion it does it really well, like Demon 79, and on occasion it's Metalhead.
Yeah, doing what you set out to do really means that what you set out to do becomes important.
You can make filet mignon, or you can microwave some meatballs, and if you do them correctly, they're in the same tier in this one.
Yeah. The second lowest tier of missed potential is Be Right Back. When you have an interesting thing that you follow through on, but you'll leave some things dangling.
Yeah, some stuff that could be explored, perhaps expanded on in Please Don't Do a Sequel, Black Mirror, but theoretically a sequel.
Yeah. Or, a companion episode that might be worse than a sequel, or better. We don't have good feelings about that.
The tier above that is Smithereens, where you're doing a thing, but there's a lot of little coils that come off the side of this central piece.
Yeah, no, it's not that many completely explored themes by volume. By screen time.
You do complete one thing, but you could have done a lot more other stuff.
Yeah, and finally there's the tier named after the episode that started our whole podcast. The tier for episodes that are so powerful they make you want to start a podcast. The Striking Vipers tier, where you maybe you even have a core idea that you execute on, but the
being important here.
But the core point is that you just power through a bunch of things that would be good to think about and explore, and just fucking just go past them hard and fast.
It's full stupid energy going through it, and every single side plot you could think of would just be better as the main plot.
Yeah, and which seasons of Black Mirror do we have left? Because, of course, we are doing these seasons in almost reverse order, finishing with Season 7 because we're doing the order that we recorded these Black Mirror episodes.
So we'll be starting Season 3 now with Nosedive. Oh boy, so Nosedive, a very quick summary, it's about a world where Instagram dominates all social interactions.
Where Instagram gives you social credit score, worse than at China style.
Nosedive is, I think I commented on it before, that I cannot say it's the worst episode of Black Mirror, but I think it might be my second most hated one.
Yeah. There's an interesting piece of data that 95 or 99 of people who are on internet forums or microblogging or whatever just do not post. And I do not understand these people who do not post. I am one of the 1 to 5%, I don't know the exact numbers, and I imagine they vary, of people who are oh yeah, no, the world is surely interested in hearing my idle thoughts. And this episode is what if everyone was a poster, and thereby it just starts off on a bad foot.
Yeah, Striking Viper, fuck. I have a brainworm. Nosedive annoys me so much because it hits you with here's a dystopia, genuinely, here's an actual dystopia, and this is not super necessary in every piece of dystopian media, but the question will always be posed, how did we get here?
Yeah.
And there's nothing here in Nosedive, right? Like it's just it's to the point that like this is enshrined. Like you don't get to go on flights if you have too low of a social credit score. You don't get to have proper healthcare. It's institutionalized social media, and no one ever explains how we got there. And secretly, everyone seems to hate it.
Yeah.
And I think that's, to me, like, that's the thing is that I don't think Nosedive throws out that many separate threads, but its fundamental conceit is so poorly thought through that it definitely is not a metalhead tier, right? Like, it needs to explain itself a bit more.
Yeah, no, and I want to, like, draw a parallel to, like, a companion-ish episode here in Hated in the Nation. Because Hated in the Nation is also deeply interested in social media.
Yes.
But it is actually interested in the dynamics of social media, right? Of, like, sort of pylons. And because... Alright, let me throw you a simple pitch here. I think Charlie Brooker understands Twitter very well and Instagram very poorly.
Yes, I can agree with that. I love building up our parasocial little boy. No, I think you're right. I think like this is like... I also think like Nosedive we talked about this is like the last great gasp of Charlie Brooker being women, am I right?
And it is like also one of the like later gaffes of like phones. Though like I think he does that a bit less and goes back to it a bit more.
Yeah. So like I think that's the thing is Nosedive for me, I would put it in the Be Right Back tier. And it comes off the fact that like it's just not that interested in itself. It's like a morality tale almost.
Well, yes.
It's like don't be on your damn phone so much.
Yeah, I think it's a very interesting piece, right? Because I think like drawing back on the comparison to Hated in the Nation, right? There is just a massive difference between social media that you interact with the people in your life with on, and social media that you, let's like, pretends to be like some sort of public square, right? Like Facebook versus Twitter, Instagram versus still Twitter. I like the public square was really very small and very like captured by Twitter until Twitter went away.
Yeah.
And now there just isn't that thing anymore. Yeah. That era is kind of over, but like giving a weird hangover to. And like I don't think Charlie Brooker right, and the fucked thing here is that like there is like a weird like influencer dynamics thing here.
Yeah.
Right? Because like that is like it isn't exactly going for the social web thing, right? No. It's going for like no, everyone's an influencer. And like that's just not feasible. Right? Like it is just like fundamentally not looking at the right type of internet. Because like it is just not possible for everyone to be an influencer. That's not a deep insight. And
yeah,
but the episode an editor should have told him that as opposed to us.
That should have been an early script rewrite.
Yeah.
So where do you think?
I think just because it's like aimed quite poorly directionally, I'm gonna put it like quite low because it's just not like aiming for the right problem.
Yeah, I would agree. I'm putting it in the Be Right Back here. Playtest. Playtest is where a dude gets killed by a AR video game.
Yeah.
Metalhead.
Made by Hideo Kojima.
Hideo Kojima, my favorite.
Like the actor also like just pulls it off.
It does.
It's clearly like our favorite actor, and like maybe that season of Black Mirror.
He's up there in the pantheon along with the entire cast of Striking Vipers. No, Playtest for me is just pure metalhead. I know I'm a certified playtest hater on this podcast.
I mean, let me think about this a little bit because I think you're okay. No, I think you're just plain wrong.
Okay.
Right. Because looking at the highest tier, Striking Vipers, right? It is playtest. First of all, gets a lot of like room for maneuver by being about interiority.
Mm-hmm.
It is about VR, and it is about like engaging with like your own past and fears. And surely there's a good episode in like that collection of themes.
So here's the thing, like I'm going to comment on this, like I think playtest is a little bit on both sides of Metalhead and 79 tier. Because I genuinely think it's a reasonably fine horror story about like this fear of dimension, this fear of like losing your mind, and that plot line I think is just complete. Like it's not super deep, but it just works on a horror level. And then everything else it gestures at, it gestures a little bit towards gig work, it gestures a little bit towards like unethical corporate practices. I think all of those are so shallow, I do not consider them missed potentials. I don't think the gesture is strong enough to count.
Alright. Yeah, no, that's an interesting angle. I think
sorry.
I do think like there is just like it. I'm trying to think like where I would have taken the idea of like you have like an adaptive video game that is just like has access to like the library of your worst fears. And like I don't know, I think it sort of breezes through that a bit too quickly. Right, it spends too much time on like fucking about with the like, ooh, is it real?
It does feel like it bullet points a lot of its main developments.
Like, it like takes the like weird love interest into the story, and like that doesn't do anything, right? It spends too much time on build up and not enough time on themes. It's too interested in like, ooh, here's a weird video game, right? And it's yeah, no, I think like I think there is like a like very high miss rate of with Charlie Brooker like trying to engage with like the sanctity of the mind. And I think I want to give this some credit for like wanting to talk about the sanctity of the mind and just like not capturing that like violation properly, because like it's not explored that this thing is in its head. In his head. It's explored that like he is facing his worst fears, and those are not the same thing. So I want to move it up to like Smithereens tier almost.
I can kind of agree. I think I'm fine with that. I think some compromise is necessary.
Like genuinely, like the sanctity of the mind, like is something that Charlie Brooker like every now and then like glances at.
And he's definitely interested in it.
Right, like the entire history of You is also like a bit about that.
Yeah.
And I don't think he like ever like manages to grab it.
I will say also there's another strong argument for playtest in the Smithereens tier, which is the fucking part. Minute 5 where he goes, here's my internal conflict. Dear hookup. Done. Okay.
I love to tell my internal conflicts to my dear hookups.
So we're on to Shut Up and Dance. Shut Up and Dance is kind of hard. So it's about a boy who turns out in the late game to be a pedophile, being hounded by some hackers who blackmail him to do weird stuff. Weird criminal stuff.
Yeah.
So the initial problem with this episode is that it just has a better version in season 2.
Yeah.
I think it's fine in exploring what it wants to explore. I think there's a bit more that could have been done with the hacker group itself that I would have liked to see more of.
Yeah, no, like we don't see the sadistic side of it. We
not fully.
Like we're like there's an argument to be made that we're meant to see that side because we're observing him, so we're sort of meant to be the stand-in for the evil hacker. But like we're not meant to take glee in his suffering.
No.
We're like it's a very like stressful episode. We're meant to empathize. So just like it just doesn't do that. I
think the other thing that's really missing for me is the part where like, you know, there are multiple times where like all of this is recorded, but it's never made to be like the spectacle I think it would be more interesting to see it as, like being publicly broadcast and stuff like that. I think this might be a Smithereens episode. It's like, it doesn't gesture at that much, but I think like there are some large threads, right, that would have been really nice to see explored in detail.
Yeah, like,
I think it's on the lower end of Smithereens, but I think it's there.
you know, like, there's just like some fundamental stuff that it like should engage with that it doesn't.
Yeah.
And like, honestly, I would place it on the high end of Smithereens too.
Okay.
Because like, I deeply care about like privacy, and like I think just going like, hey, wouldn't it be fucked up if bad things happened? But he's a pedophile, so how's your prejudices now?
Yeah.
Do you think it's good now?
Yeah, like, it's just hard because of how heavily it's overshadowed. But we'll get to that.
Yeah.
San Junipero, two lesbian lovers meet in a digital world and have existential crisis. This is, at least for me, on the border to Metalhead. And more on the 79 side, to be clear, because it's actually a good episode. But, like, I think fundamentally San Junipero goes through, like, what it's about, right? It's about trauma and the inability to accept good things.
Yeah.
And it goes through and like, digests that difficulty and that, like, survivor's guilt of, like, no, I can't be happy. My son, or like, I think it's my husband, right?
Yeah.
My husband died and he was unhappy, so I can't be happy now. That would be dishonoring his memory.
Yeah.
And, like, it hooks on very well to real experiences, and I think it just, like, goes through that plot well.
Yeah, on this, at the same time, like, it has this other angle of like, imagining utopia as like within reach. And like, it only goes to like the border of it and goes like, you need to work through a lot to be able to enter, because like, you will just straight up like not accept it. Like, in a extremely literal sense, you will just like not like cash your ticket to utopia because you don't think like you deserve it. So you need to work through that to you, like, it is like oddly Christian. You can like make it an oddly Christian metaphor where it's like, no, you just need you need to accept that you are saved. Like, but it is genuinely hard to do so, right? And I think like I want to see utopia like just a bit, right? Like, I think well, okay, I don't want to like cast like shade on the episode for not doing this, but I think there is just like some very interesting like potential in like exploring the like the emotional impact of like making it to the other side, right? Like, what if like say for a moment that like over the next 100 years humanity just like gets through it, like reaches the other side, right? Like, we are like, that's going to be a fucking lot to process, and I think that's like an interesting angle to the story that like they don't go for, and that's okay. But I do think there is like something very interesting like in the margins.
I agree, but I think that would just be a different story. Fundamentally, is where I'm at. Like, I think this is about like an individual.
Yeah, no, I'm happy placing it in either of the like little missed potential tiers.
I'm putting it in Metalhead.
Yeah.
79. More 79.
More 70, a lot more 79.
Men Against Fire. Men Against Fire is about a military that has an implant that makes them see the enemies as monsters, like physical monsters. It's almost Striking Vipers to me, but I think it makes it.
Well, let's go through it a little bit, because I want to reach ahead here and compare it to playtest.
Okay.
Right? Because fundamentally, what we're looking at here is like a very basic sci-fi story. Mm-hmm. That's.
I assume you mean plaything, by the way.
Yes, plaything. We have a very basic sci-fi story, right? It's like, ooh, like the world gets taken over by robots, or like, the soldiers have mind implant, right? This is so basic that it has been done by Star Trek, and like a lot has been done by Star Trek. Like, that's not like a great deal of shade, but like it helps to sort of categorize it.
Yeah.
And like, as a result, like, you might think like, it's just doing a basic sci-fi story. We should just like bonk it in like the Metalhead 79 tier and like move on. But it just like has some weird shit going on.
It has some richness with, in particular, like the common people who are just fully in on the racist project, but without the implant. It has our boy Heidegger, who's like, I'm a Christian, I don't think we should be genociding people.
Yeah.
Like, and I think the thing that really frustrates me with Men Against Fire is that they made it the dumbest protagonist, and you can feel his, like, absolute anchoring of the plot. Like, just preventing it from doing anything interesting.
Yeah, no, like, and look, just to keep listing, right? We also have, like, him being tortured with, like, oh, yeah, no, you don't want to be part of the deal? Hey, what if we just play you the thing you actually did on loop as torture? Or, I'm trying to think, oh, yeah, we have the fucking, like, my dream sex reward system.
Yes, the, like, reward system for, like, how to be like, hey, yeah, you, for murdering a bunch of people, here's just, like, implanted pleasure.
Yeah, and so, like, we just have all of these, like, interesting things that are just, like, present on the sides of this fucking cookie-cutter sci-fi story, and we're doing none of them. So, like, in a sense, this is, like, very obviously Smithereens tier, right? Because we have a straightforward story, and then we have a lot of other things that are interesting on the side. However, I want to bump this up to Striking Vipers tier because the main thing is so fucking uninteresting that, like, it is not excusable that you just, like, picked one of the things and ended up going with it. Like, your choice is, like, so obviously bad that, like, you need to be, like, dinged for it.
I think even there's an issue of, like, if you want to talk about dehumanizing your opponent, can we talk about any traditional method of doing so? Like, the media, the home front, the, like, training. But no, like, nothing.
The Star Trek version of this episode is, like, about the metaphor, right?
Yeah.
It's not about... But no, like, it's...
I think also, just like Men Against Fire is, like, again, I really want to emphasize how bogged down it is by, like, the fact that, like, they have to baby step the protagonist through every, like, hey, like, we understood the moment they say roaches with a capital R, you go like, I understand where this is going.
Yeah, no, I've been aware of young adult fiction, right? Like, this isn't like the fucking high drawer of, like, sort of, like, occasionally explored but quite obscure sci-fi concept. This is like, this is like the things they place on the most eye level, so you can go like, yes, this is jam. I'm buying jam.
Imagine the first Hunger Games book, but the first 200 pages are about describing that the capital is bad and oppressive.
Yeah, no, like it's Hunger Games, but it's like really like taken up with the big reveal.
It's insane.
Like, it's
writing.
Hunger Games if she thought, like, I think things are, like, moral this way, I guess. It sure would be awful to have my illusions ripped away from me. Like, no!
Like, we need to stop making metaphors about this, because Men Against Fire is just, like, up there's maybe the worst written episode, I would say.
Yeah, no, it's truly fascinating because it's so forgettable.
Yeah.
Despite, like, having all of these, like, deeply weird things going on. But yeah, no, like, Striking Vipers tier.
Yeah,
Hardcore.
I agree. I'm with you. Hated in the Nation, which is about a guy using killer bees and social media to kill people.
Yeah.
Killer robot bees.
Specifically, like, weaponizing social media shitstorms to kill people, and then in the end flipping the switch and killing all the people who participated.
Yeah, this is a very indulgent episode in my mind. But, like, it wants to talk about social media and, like, the sort of dissociated nature of verbal violence on there, right? Yeah. And how it's like, hey, what if those death threats actually killed people? Which they do a little bit, but, like, in a very literal sense in this episode.
Yeah, and, like, if you, like, cut it off there, right? If you cut it off, like, maybe, like, 1 hour in or something.
Yeah.
like it is just like straightforwardly like that's a like lowest possible tier. That's a straightforward story.
Yeah.
But then we get the twist where it's like where the guy is like, no, I'm flipping the switch and killing everyone for doing this, right? And suddenly like we get this weird introduction to like somewhat the person who is mad about this also has a god complex that like all these fucking CEOs have. And it's like thinking like, yes, I would like to deliver poetic justice. And like in doing so, like it like really starts racking up the points for me because like you're looking at the wrong thing. Like sure, poetic justice, like that's a thing you can put in there, but the person to look at is the guy who like wants to like invert the system, but he's not actually changing the system because it is just still like one like technology savant who is going to change the world through like brutal technological change.
Yeah, we suddenly get a story about like essentially vigilantism and like who gets to be the executioner of who's bad and not, which is a story Black Mirror is very interested in normally. I think like the big missed opportunity is the guy that we don't get.
Why does this guy suck? You need to tell us.
We get on
that's the question at the heart of this. This is the same guy that built the company like conceptually, but you're like, probably just like a programmer. I don't know. Like he's maybe like a bit of a sad man.
Yeah, we get like a very baseline Freudian excuse of like they were mean to a girl I had a creepy crush on. Yeah. And then we're done. And it's like,
yeah, no, like
get it, but like there needs to be more meat on that bone.
Yeah, no, like you, like it is like this is like another weird one because like this is like another crocodile, but like not in the sense that like we have an unexplored like idea. It's in the sense that we have like an we're just like taking straightforwardly like the wrong lesson and going like, technological savants are the driving force behind everything, and
yeah, it's one of those that derails itself at the 1 hour mark. I think that might bump it up to smithereens for me.
Yeah.
Okay, next one is...
But also, it is just like an inverse smithereens.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Because smithereens has a good core, and this one, like it's exactly missing the core.
Yeah, and it's I almost say like chronologically, it's like where Hated in the Nation busts itself open at like 1 hour mark. Yeah. Smithereens closes itself down.
There. It sort of like comes around a bit.
Yeah.
But also, just to be clear, we're not saying the episode like is saying this guy is good, but like it is leaving him unexamined, which is like nearly as big a crime. And sort of, it is not. It is ascribing agency like wrongly.
It starts with the idea of like the object of interest is the crowd, and then goes no, the crowd doesn't care. We have like a puppet master. He's cool.
Yeah, and like it's a quite. I understand why it's quite a difficult one to get right, because like this is like the premises aren't like that insane, right? Like you just like have people like inventing the technology or like making the technology decisions that like kill people. Like Mark Zuckerberg has a like genocide like on his rap sheet.
Yeah.
But like it's not like the thing to ask about is like why the fuck are like some like depressed nerds who made like Harvard hot or not like in the position to make like these calls. And like Mark Zuckerberg isn't like a mind genius who can like program the best website. No, like there are structures empowering these people, and like it is just going and it's just buying the story of like, no, mind genius make computer do evil. And yeah, that's the miss.
Mind genius make computer go evil. I wonder if that might return in Black Mirror. So we are on to Be Right Back. The last of our tier defining ones. I think we've talked a lot about Be Right Back, about the woman who...
Then this, to be clear, is season 2 now.
Yes, the first episode is season 2. Be Right Back, like...
Donald Gleason.
Which is eventually about like a woman, boyfriend dies, she gets a robot of that boyfriend. Social issues arise.
Yeah, but she like doesn't quite... she wants to kill him, but then she's like, oh, I can't bring myself to do it, and like sort of like enters like a weird state of like accommodation and like keeping him around, but like locked in the attic.
Yeah, like it's interesting because we talked about this as like the inspiration behind the robot is essentially about like the digital footprint.
Yeah.
And it talks a little bit about that and like the sort of vacuousness of like the things you leave on the internet. But that's no longer that relevant these days compared to what it was when this episode was released. But I still think Be Right Back is mostly complete. It's just heavily focused on the personal rather than the greater social implications. And I think that's fine.
It's fine, but like a little bit more of a nod would have also been interesting. And you know, we are structurally interested people.
Yes.
Here. But like it does, like I think like this episode, like the thing that like makes this episode like really come together is the like uneasy settlement at the end, right?
Yeah.
Because like it is, that is just sort of like how a lot of our relationship to technology like ends up. Like, yeah, no, like I'm not gonna switch to Linux, right? Like I'm like I have like a lifetime of experience like handling Windows.
Yeah.
Just because like Windows 10 is leaving me behind, like I guess I will just like spend like $300 getting my computer in order.
Do you think this will date this episode?
I mean, yeah.
But yeah, no, I think it's very comfortably where it is. Yeah. Now,
in a good way. Like, Be Right Back. Like,
I will say, like, striking Viper's tier, I would call problematic if you're up there. But, like, Be Right Back tier, that's fine. Like, if you write good stories, you will probably quite frequently just leave a couple of open-ended threads here and there.
And, like, sometimes it's better, sometimes it's worse.
Absolutely.
And, you know, people will, like, have vehement feelings about that.
White Bear. White Bear is about a woman who turns... This is going to sound very similar to another episode description. It's about a woman who turns out later to have been a child killer, getting punished, and her punishment is turned into a spectacle for observers.
And it is specifically, like, told mostly from her perspective, just, like, waking up without memory in, like, The Purge.
Yes.
And everybody's purging her specifically. Yeah,
White Bear, we've talked a lot about this in the past, that it's such a fascinating episode where it goes, no, we're gonna tell, don't show, and it's kind of gonna work. I don't think, the only thing I can really think of when it comes to unexplored areas is the part that is about, we talked a little bit about the fact that, like, she's one of very few people of color in the cast.
Yeah.
Like, pretty much everyone who torments her is white. I like, even in the, like, audiences, which are a lot of people in the later parts, we basically only see white people. And
I think maybe like literally only. Yeah. That we haven't like gone over it screen by screen to confirm.
And I think this is the part where it's like the episode never comments on that at all. But it sure is an interesting choice. Yeah. Like if you're just doing open casting, you're probably not going to get exclusively white people. You're probably going to get a majority in the UK.
No, they've done it on purpose, and like they haven't like. They did not end up drawing like literal attention to it. And like we're also white. So
we are.
So like I do really hope, like I think this works, but like I worry that it doesn't.
Yeah. I think it works, and I think it's fine that it's ambiguous. Like I don't think that's a mistake. Yeah. Because like it's set in the modern times where like I'm not racist, but right, like that's the era of politics it's set in. So I'm kind of keen to put this in Metalhead 79 tier.
Yeah, I guess there is like it is like quite structurally interested, right? Yeah. So yeah, no, I like this is just like a kind of another home run.
Yeah, it's nice to have those.
Yeah.
Now, the Waldo moment. In my opinion, from the early seasons of Black Mirror, this is just the clumsiest episode.
Yeah, specifically because of, like, the ending montage.
Yeah.
Just, like, going, like, oh, yeah, no. And then he causes 1984 by creating VTuber politicians. And, like, first of all, VTubers are here now. This has not happened.
Yeah, VTubers, I don't think are gonna overthrow any
companies. Yeah, no, like, I do think... I want to, like, grab onto something from this episode that just, like, straight, like, hard misses the mark. Because, like, this episode, in my mind, is, like, tied to like a like now decaying idea of like proper like mass media that like is like on its way out. And the idea is basically that Waldo, the character, like can command this much attention, this much adoration, like as a mass media character, and that is just like a concept that is like completely like alien to like the modern day now, because like the media environment is so fractured.
Yeah, like we talk a lot about like this is written in a time of a much more centralized media conglomerate.
And that still like really sticks with me, that like no, the story just like has aged very poorly in that sense, but obviously very well in the like clown politicians fucking shit.
Like this was, we talked about like what this might have been inspired by, and it's not Trump. Trump is not on the scene at this point. Like this is about Boris Johnson, if anything.
Yeah.
And even then, like, oh boy, does it have some stuff to learn about the future of UK politics.
Yeah. But yeah, like I don't know. I think to me this is another like Black Museum-y episode, right? Because like it sort of like gets its point across fairly well. And then it like thinks it is more important than it is.
Yeah.
Right? So like it does just like complete like it does overestimate it. Like it's pretentious.
I think the big thing for me that for me actually might push it up to smithereens tier is that it makes the point that like, okay, quote unquote civilized politics, if you will, outside of the Boris Johnson and Trump types, is regarded here as like a flawed but fundamentally stable institution.
Yeah.
And it completely ignores the like part where it's like people don't go for the like haha protest candidates out of complete satisfaction with the system.
Like shit has gotten more fucked than ever since the 70s.
Yeah, and the fact that it's completely not exploring that, and like why we get to the point that like
you're right.
Yeah, that like Johnson, that Trump, that Geert Wilders and stuff like that become genuine candidates in the political scene.
Yeah, because it's like it's stagnant. Like I listen to too much politics commentary, but like the phrase that is like just like jumping into my mind is that like Trump has been and still and was again both times he was elected the burn it all down candidate. And like for like insane reasons, right? Like people go burn it all down for insane reasons, but like not all of them. A lot of them are just like, well, this is clearly going badly. Like we cannot like the status quo is untenable, and communism like is not allowed in the US. That's not a word you can think.
Yeah. So
you just go like, well, orange man say things bad, and you go from there. And that's like, people don't like, people are stupid, but people aren't that stupid.
Yeah. So I say smithereens there.
Yeah, no, that's very trenchant.
White Christmas, which is another anthology episode, that is much harder to summarize than Black Museum, actually.
Well, let's see. First, what is the first story?
The first, it's the pickup artists one.
Oh yeah, the Beverly Hole one. First we have the worst representation of schizophrenia in Black Mirror.
Yep.
Because we have John Hamm meeting Guy in a cabin, and he's like, yeah, no, I'm in cabin because I was doing pickup advice through VR for other people, and one of those guys got killed.
Because you know what schizophrenia is like. Second anthology bit is about
I used to torture people in the eternal white room by making them endure like months of nothingness.
Yeah, this is consciousness copies making their first proper appearance in Black Mirror. And then the last one is about, hey, I used to have a girlfriend, she cheated on me, I became a stalker for a bit, and then I was blocked because I physically could not see her anymore, because that's tech we have.
Yeah, and I killed her dad over it, and by accident, sort of in affect.
And then also semi by accident, I kind of killed her child.
Yeah, that one was definitely not in affect, that one was just like a consequence of the first murder.
Yeah. And we finish off with John Hamm also being blocked for being a sex offender because of the pickup artist shit.
Yep. Yeah, no, like, we just, okay, this is a weird one, right? Because we just have so much going on.
Yeah, it's, like, that's the thing is that barring its views on women, and barring its views on mental illness, I think White Christmas is a very well done episode.
Yeah, it is a very well constructed, like, it comes together mechanically very well. The interesting part that, like, it is, like, doing missed potential on purpose here, right? Because it ends, or it's doing, like, unsaid things on purpose, because it ends with, John Hamm is, like a non-person to everyone else. And, you know, it just lets that dangle, right? That is just, like, some points off the bat. It's how it's an interesting one, right? Because we do mind copy stuff, and the consequence of mind copy stuff, this is maybe the best iteration of that, because it's like, yeah, no, like, this is bad, and the cops will use it, to, like, and, like, it will result in, like, persons.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, like, this is, like, by far the most, like, sanctity of mind actually, like, contemplated properly episode Black Mirror ever does.
Yeah. I think the things that are missing for me is I would like to see a bit more examination on the, like, sort of male entitlement thing that kind of happens in the third anthology bit. But, like, it's hard to say how much this episode intentionally leaves open for interpretation.
Yeah.
I'm leaning towards, like, a be right back on this one.
Yeah, no, like, it is just, like, doing a lot.
Yeah, but it mostly wraps up what it wants to say.
And, like, it leaves some amount dangling, but, like, if you're doing that much, like, how could you not?
And so we arrive at season 1, the national anthem, where a princess is kidnapped and the prime minister has to fuck a pig. I think it's pretty complete, genuinely.
Yeah. Like, this is just, like, wouldn't it be fucked up if blank? But, like,
but it actually has some stuff to go, like, it's not a playtest.
Like, yeah, no, and then it goes, like, yeah, no, and, like, society would just sort of, like, repress that. Like, it makes a commentary on, like, how the world copes with that, right?
Yeah, and it does it competently and without leaving that much.
Yeah, no, this is
Metalhead 79.
Yeah, no, this is very, like, this is, like, it's a dense episode, too.
Absolutely.
Because we have, like, the interpersonal consequence. We have, like, the state is fumbling angle. Right?
It's a remarkably focused episode, and it leaves a couple of things that then they wrap up, like the interpersonal angle between the Prime Minister and his wife.
Yeah. And we get, we do just get, like, a very interesting montage where, like, they had to get, like, a lot of, like, reasonably skilled actors just, like, miming, like, their reaction to watching, like, the most bizarre thing ever on television.
Yeah. The national anthem to me stands as a triumph of, like, incredibly tight writing.
Yeah, no, it's remarkable.
Now, 15 Million Merits, the second episode of season 1, about a weird dystopia where people bike all day, except they can also go on American Idol and potentially become an American Idol judge. Man, it's a lot simpler now that I think about it, huh?
I think forgetting also helps. Like,
true.
it's like it's not a, like, original story, right? It is like Rebel gets co-opted by the system.
Yeah, I would say so, but I think it's the fact that it's so tightly interlinked with, like, spectacle and vulgarity actually makes that story stand out a bit more.
Like, it leaves all, like, this is, I think it is quite unique, right? Because it, like, is, like, extremely, like, hard sci-fi. It's like everyone is inside in a weird skyscraper.
Yeah.
And, like, the world building is nonsensical, like, on the face of it.
And I think fairly intentional in my mind.
Yes, exactly. So, like, those aren't, like, left dangling. Those are, like, this is, like, this is also, like, a quite impressionist episode, right?
Absolutely.
Because, like, it's a little bit, like, it's a bad dream of the a strange future.
Like, it's what if American Idol trapped you, but, like, expand that idea a little bit.
Yeah.
I think it's fairly complete, but I don't think it quite gets there. Like, I think there's more to examine. I think especially, like, the female protagonist, or the protagonist, is left very empty. And I think there's so much, like, gesturing at different kinds of vulgarity that go, like, okay, but, like, can you say something more except, ooh, porn?
Yeah, and I think the other problem is that, like, it does, like, this very interesting flourish where it's like, and the system, like, doesn't know how to, like, it only knows how to neutralize criticism, not to utilize it, right? Like, there is, like, this is, like, a fundamentally, like, non-conscious system that is just, like, bizarrely stable, right? And in that sense, it is like, well, what, like, that's a very fascinating idea, and I do think, like, I would, like, it would be fascinating to just, like, have it, like, just play with that idea a bit more.
Yeah, and I want to ask, like, what drives it?
Well, I think, and that's sort of the difficulty of the episode, right? Because it doesn't want to give those answers.
Yeah.
And, like, I don't know, I think, like, at some point, like, just, like, a little bit more movement would have been nice.
Yeah.
To
be right back.
Yeah, no, this is hard. Be right back to you, because, like, it does land. It's just like
it could have landed a bit more broadly. The entire history of you, a society gets to have little grains that record everything that happens around them, and one guy in particular handles this ability very poorly.
By just, like, ruminating, like, cyber assisted in the, like, worst conceivable way.
Picking apart his relationship that seemed fine, like, bit by bit.
Yeah, picking apart his work chances that didn't seem like that bad. And, God, like, he has, like, the hard crash out. And
as a potential thing, like, the thing that this episode does not examine is the social implications on a broader scale.
Well,
but the thing is, it has an answer for that.
Yeah.
Because the answer is, this guy, he's just bad at this.
Yeah, no, like, and, like, I think, like, in the light of, like, the current day where, like, there's just, like, a, like, 0.1% chance that ChatGPT will give you specifically psychosis. But most people will just be like, well, it's a bit like Google, I guess. I sometimes try to search things or, like, get an outline for a paper. Right? And it's...
Yeah.
It is just like, like, what if, like, it is just quite prescient in that, like, like, new technologies will just, like, be often, like, absorbed quite smoothly into society, except for, like, giving just, like, a few people a new madness rune to destroy themselves on.
Even more detail, I think it does the bell curve of how well you adapt to this new technology. Because we have our main guy who just destroys his own life, and that of people around him with it.
Yeah.
But you also have a guy who's a bit annoying about, look at this bad hotel room I got. And slightly above that, guy who openly admits, like, I just look at essentially my own sex tapes a bunch with this, and everyone's like, dude, what's wrong with you? But, like, he hasn't destroyed his life doing it, at least. So
well, he destroys someone else's life and almost gets himself fucking stabbed.
But I think that's more on our protagonist. I think this might be a Metalhead 79 as well.
Yeah, no, like
it acknowledges what you could do with this and says, that's fine, but that's another story.
Yeah.
This is what we're about.
Yeah, and, like, I think just, like, by doing the alternates acknowledgement, it does, like, land a bit differently than Archangel, which, like, does the cutoff, like, a lot harder.
Yeah, it's like, don't worry about that. Don't think about this. Moving on to season 7. Common People. The big one. We talked a little bit about this in the episode, right? Like, there's some stuff that seems genuinely super interesting that they leave hanging. Like, there's the, like, oh, you can advance, or you can enhance all of your abilities, you can do parkour, read jump over a guardrail.
But there need to be people there to steal it from.
Oh, yeah, and quickly, Common People is about a woman who gets a brain injury and who then has to pay a subscription service to fill in her brain.
And they keep, like, raising the price and at the same time worsening her service.
I think Common People, to me, is actually semi-far up here. But like it's a rare good example of someone who's a bit further up on this list. Because there's a lot more you can do with it, and like it's up because we talked about this as well, that like it gestures at so many different things. It talks about the American healthcare system and private healthcare.
I think the verb isn't gesture in this case, right? Because like when they gesture at things, like it's there's a dismissiveness to it,
right? Yeah.
There's like you do this, viewer. In this case, like it's embedded in these like sprawling topics that are like so present to us.
That is true, and I think like there's a point that this like these dips, these little dives, actually enhance it, because then you go like, imagine all the other people here.
Yeah.
Like, imagine everyone else who has a brain injury. Imagine anyone else who gets ripped off by the system.
And I think, like, the reason, like, it lands quite differently than other stories that, like, gesture is because, like, other stories, when they, like, gesture at, like, implications, they're gesturing at, like, sci-fi potential, right?
Yeah.
This is quite the inverse. This is, like, pointing at, like, this is, like, the sci-fi version of very real things. So it is, like, going like, you see it happening, don't you? This is like, it keeps pointing to things that are of the present, right? And it's in that way, like, sure, like, you also think about the sci-fi potential, but it is just like, it just keeps hitting so close to home that, like, yes, there's a lot of things it's not doing, but like in a very different way than other episodes that are like, we don't have time to explore all our concepts.
Yeah. So I would still put it in smithereens. Because I think there's so much to explore, but like it doesn't feel like a failure, right? Like when Beyond the Sea does shit like this, I'm like, you just didn't do the thing you should have done.
Yeah.
But this is much more interesting. Mm-hmm. I think Common People is like one of the few Black Mirror episodes I would have liked a sequel on.
Yeah.
Like an actual one. Moving on to Bête Noire, which is about the Berenstain Bears, but imagine if that like actually happened and it fucked you up real bad.
I don't know the Berenstain Bears.
Oh, it's Mandela effect.
Yeah, no, goodness.
It's so this is a genre episode, right? Like we can talk about it as such. I don't think like we drew some stuff out of it in the broader social commentary sense. But I think if we're treating the episode as it is, it's mostly a horror story, and it's like the inciting thing it talks about is like bullying and revenge, and like, can you move on from that and stuff like that. Like it's a pretty typical trauma horror story in a way, but with the protagonist is the person doing the traumatizing, and the antagonist is the traumatized one.
I think this one is quite interesting, because in the sense that it is like quite different from a lot of other Black Mirror stuff, in the sense that like the technology it envisions is like it's far closer to the like a technology akin to magic, and as opposed to technology that's like probably gonna be around in like 5 to 15 years. I'm leaning on the lower end here pretty heavily. Like it's like it is sort of like related to a few things that are like, but it's mostly related to like quite like people things as opposed to technology things.
And I think it handles that fairly well. The most interesting part of this episode to me is the way that like our protagonist is a woman of color, and there's the like, stop being so aggressive, why are you raising your voice? Like that's the most like subtle thing it does. But like when I think about this episode, there isn't like I would have liked them to pick this thing up and gone further with it.
But like there's still enough of like the ideas there for me to like place it, I think, and like be right back at least.
I think that's fair. Hotel Reverie. Hotel Reverie is about a very down bad woman going and interacting with like a 1940s, 1950s movie star by making a movie with her using AI tech, essentially. I don't know about this one, because I think it's somewhat high up.
Yeah, because like it is engaging with some like quite abstract notions of like both of like it's engaging with like abstract technological ideas of like resurrecting someone who is like only there in figments, but it is also like engaging with like some like quite deep like people storytelling, right? Of like getting attached, like the ability and inability to connect with people that are like out of your reach, and like it's just like a lot.
It's like, it's about limerence, it's about like trying to rescue past people from the bigotries of their time. It's about like, it's kind of about representation, I guess, in the sense of the protagonist always like being the sidekick and stuff like that.
Yeah, and it's embedded in like also embedded in like a media story about like sort of like tech creeping into Hollywood, in like multiple ways, right? Like you have to like squint a bit, but like there is like some like there's not that hard of a line to draw from this to like talking about digital de-aging.
Yeah.
And there's just like a lot of ideas here that are like, and also just like the complete haplessness of the tech again.
Yeah.
That speaks to me.
I think it doesn't delve into anything quite enough for my tastes, I will admit. I think it settles mostly with this like central sort of limerence slash falling in love with an AI, or like a ghost, as you put it.
Yeah.
So I'm leaning Smithereens tier here.
Yeah, no, that feels right because God, it has so much going on.
Plaything, I was very close to saying playtest. Plaything, Guy, Peter Capaldi, gets The Sims, but advanced and goes crazy with it, and then destroys the world with The Sims.
Or just gives everyone an upgrade to be a bit nicer.
Allegedly. So, this is Sci-Fi 101.
And also, this apocalypse, once more, maybe only happened in Britain.
That's all Charlie Brooker cares about. So, it's Sci-Fi 101. It doesn't achieve that much with it.
No.
And it has such, like, we talked about it during this episode, there's the alternative plot of this is a seriously socially isolated man who gets like a, hey, here's a kind thing to interact with that can help you solve that isolation, and they will never be mad at you. You can be nice to them and they can be nice to you forever. And I'm like, that sounds cool. Could we have that instead?
Yeah,
I honestly think this might be striking Viper's territory with me.
Really?
I think it's closing in. Like, I think just the fact that they do the Sci-Fi 101 story and they just add nothing to that compared to the alternate version that they feels like they actually hint at. There's also just the fact that, like, they talk a little bit about Britain as a surveillance state. They have a police officer who's just, like, straight up abusive. And nothing of that is actually, like, of interest to the story. Like, you can talk a little bit about the police officer and the idea of, like, oh, humans are violent, but, like, the surveillance state part, that if anything, is just, like, a plot device for the, I'm gonna hack the computer with my little drawing.
Yeah, I'm, like, hard in the opposite direction, where, like, these, like, illusions are, like, so thin that I can only see, right?
Right, yeah, no, right, I understand.
What's the other Sci-Fi 101 story that I complained about just now?
Great question. I'm looking for the tier list and I'm blanking. It's not Hidden in the Nation, is it?
No.
Oh, Men Against Fire.
Thank you. Alright, like, Men Against Fire, like, all its ideas are, like, quite, like, visible.
Yeah.
And, like, here, like, they're like glimmers to, like, that's sort of like the difference I see, right? Like, I'm getting what you're putting down. I think, like, I don't see the episode like having gone any other way. Like, this episode, like, when this episode is, like, up for edits, it's just like, we'll just toss this one, right? Like, as opposed to Men Against Fire, where you go, like, you know what, maybe we just, like, we subvert Sci-Fi 101 expectations. Like, maybe you can, like, slap a twist on it, where it's like, oh no, he's just crazy. He's just unwell, right? But, like, I don't know if there's any saving this. Right, you need to either diverge so fundamentally or like slap a stupid twist on it that like I see nothing here.
I think like I think I can agree with that. I think the thing that like really makes it hard for me is that like this comes from Bandersnatch, and Bandersnatch is interesting.
Yeah.
Like it's not actually like a real sequel, but it alludes to it being a sequel. And I think that's maybe what's making me think like this could have been a real thing.
I mean, okay, like drawing the Bandersnatch connection for a moment, like there is a fun version of this where you're playing the Thronglets.
True, yeah. Ooh.
But again, like very far, very distant relative to what is actually in front of us.
Would you feel comfortable putting this in Be Right Back tier?
I'm comfortable like splitting this between Max and Min.
Because I'm just thinking like I still think there's something here that could have been pulled out, but I agree that it is thin on the ground.
Yeah, no, I think that's one way to like split the difference.
Yeah, it's about the strength of the missed opportunity. Eulogy. Leaning to Eulogy is the episode about a man having to think about his extremely bad relationship that could have been great, using technology and talking to said former girlfriend's daughter. Yeah. I'm leaning towards it just being a complete thing.
Like, we keep going on about, like, oh, yeah, no, it sure would be nice to talk about the inaccuracy of memory. And then we have Eulogy, where it's just like, well, all the, like the memories are not exactly inaccurate. It's just...
interpretation.
You're missing the face, and you're just, like, the inaccuracy of the memories is a perspective thing. Yeah. Which I think is a very interesting angle to bring to it, right? Because, like, inaccuracy of memories, like is a very big field. And, you're going to, like, a saying that has stuck to me for, like, a decade is that people do not remember what you told them. People will remember what it felt like to hear whatever you said, right? And, like, this is going, like, a bit further, where it's like, no, like, the memories are accurate. You're just gonna, like, you just don't have the full picture, right? And, like, that's a very fascinating take on that. And I won't file it under inaccuracy of memories, because, like, yeah, he's fucking wrong existentially.
But, like, the actual sensory information is correct. Yeah. He just does not have the context, or, like, in some cases just willfully kind of misinterpret it.
Because it stems from, like, a need to, like, make sense of it, and he has just, like, taken one, like, wrong turn and barreled down that road. And, like, this is the episode that does it, you know? And it's a fresh take on it. It's not like, ooh, yeah, no, you can be fooled into thinking something else. Like, yeah, you can, but, like,
that's not what this
here's
is about.
a fucked way that can happen.
Here's how you essentially filter it on your own. You don't need to be like, no, actually the jacket was green, not yellow. Like, it's just no. Like, I've been sitting here. I've been bitter for 50 years. I'm gonna decide that that's what that memory says.
Yeah, and the text is the same, but boy, and like, this is, like, bottom tier for me. Like, this is a home run, right? This hits all the things that's doing out of the fucking park.
Yes. And finally, uses Callister into infinity.
What a turnabout!
What a finale.
I have put this in the episode description. This episode should have taken note of the existence of EVE Online. This episode should have been about the fact that these are artificial people who are still very much people in a world where other people are playing their fucking video games and, like, winding down after work and going like, I'll start, like, a trillion what's the ISK war, because I don't have anything else to spend it on, right? And like it's just doing none of that, and it's just going like, yeah, no, like, I guess the one new thing we're doing is that this nerd, like, he wasn't always insane. He was like a normal guy with some bad tendencies. And then apparently the money got to him, and I guess money gets to you, and that's all the new things we have to say to Callister 1.
Yeah.
And instead of going for like this truly like interesting and strange story about dehumanization, that like they have like just in the periphery of their vision, and just like go like, because they're aimed like straight at it, and they just go like, well, I don't see anything there. Anyway, we're going to like return to the old trajectory.
Yeah, I think this episode gains so many points on the scale for just doing Callister 1 again. And it's the structure, the things it talks about, any social commentary is more or less used as Callister 1, plus a little bit, because they just have like 50% more runtime.
Yeah, and like they do like more stuff about wealth, and like there's like a little bit of something about like power corrupting, but like that's
even that's
not
kind
much.
Of, yeah, even that feels kind of quashed by it being like, hey, this guy, not powerful, still creepy in mostly the same way, just the severity is a bit different.
Yeah, but to be fair, he is very powerful.
Yeah, but like,
yeah.
But you know, like you could have that's a choice the writers made.
Yeah,
you could have had a non-powerful guy and been like, look, he's fine. He might, you know, say some weird shit about women on Reddit or whatever, but like...
Yeah, no, like, it's... like, I didn't understand how they missed it. There were, like, 5 writers on it, and none of them went like, yeah, no, like, how are they going to, like, be in the world as, like, virtual people for whom this is life and death as opposed to a video game?
It's also just like, I think we talked a little bit about this in the episode, like, the idea of, like, actually doing a direct sequel in an anthology show. Just like, you have so much support here. You have established USS Callister 1 is a popular episode of Black Mirror. You have everything like frameworked already. You don't have to spend that much time setting stuff up. You can just do the new stuff.
I'm just like envisioning the episode where like they have to like reveal they are like real at gunpoint, and like the fucking like devs just go like, well, we have to sweep this under the rug, but not entirely, because this is like the like marketing opportunity of a decade to have this like be like partially quashed, and then like they die because the devs just like do not want to put any safety on. Right, like, and
the Striking Vipers tier.
Yeah, and like in the core conceit way too.
Yeah,
like there's actually not that many like threads. It's just like the big one.
Yeah, it's the thing that like all other threads they have are carried through from the first episode, and I'm like, why did you do that? You know, like there's a lot of like spiritual sequels in Black Mirror, and they tend to try to do a little bit of new stuff. So the actual sequel not doing anything new is weird. Like, we have this concept with the same aesthetics and characters. We could just watch USS Callister 1 again.
It hurts.
Yeah. You did not seem this negative when we actually did the Callister into Infinity episode.
Because that is like its biggest flaw, right? It is just straight up like the hard miss.
And it's also just like, I think for what it's worth, Into Infinity is actually like fun to watch.
Yeah, no, so it's energetic, but like thinking about it on these terms is just like the most damning thing you could possibly do with this episode.
I think that's a wonderful point to end this tier list on, isn't it? Like, like that's beautiful. It ends up in the highest tier, in the Striking Vipers tier, and we have a new disappointing perspective on it.
I want to like revisit the Striking Vipers tier like as a category broadly for a second, because like Striking Vipers to me is genuinely fascinating in how it like, in like its anti-joke way, that it just like evokes all these things in like this deeply strange way by like not doing them so aggressively. And I don't think, I'm just trying to think, like none of the others are like doing that.
Rachel, Jack, and Ashley 2 is the closest to me.
Yeah.
But that one is just like structurally extremely different.
Yeah.
Because that one sets up and then forgets. Striking Vipers is like, if we're talking about it in the anti-joke sense, it's walking past like 20 good punchlines and then forgetting like, right, you're right, this was a joke.
Yeah.
I forgot to do the punchline. Shame I didn't have any opportunity to do that. And Rachel, Jack, and Ashley too is just like, it just halfway through stops caring.
Yeah, and like it leaves those things dangling, but like it distracts you from them a bit too much for that to like be strange in quite the same way.
And I think Crocodile and Men Against Fire are both kind of like, here's kind of a cool idea.
Yeah.
And Crocodile is more unique than Men Against Fire, but both start with like, here's a cool idea, watch us do nothing. Just like the rest of it is just, we drove the truck into a wall at minute 3.
Yeah, no, like Crocodile and Men Against Fire both like distract with like a terrible plot.
And USS Callister is just, I mean, it's in a unique position being the sequel, right? Like, we're just like, it has so much stuff it could do and it does nothing because it wants to do the first one again.
Yeah, no, and like, I guess that is just like a sequel weakness where it's like, where I guess it is just like a very poor sequel in that it like in like all the senses, right? It's not doing anything new, it's doing the same things again, it's diminished.
It's like, I'm sorry, I need to not get stuck on USS Callister, but like, the thing that fucking struck me so hard watching that episode is where they go like, we're in a ship and we need to escape the bad CEO by driving through the big thing in the center of the universe. Like, you can't do that unintentionally, right?
I wonder, like, was it like a failed riff on Star Wars? I don't think so.
I can't tell that.
No, I don't think so.
No, like, that's not really like a Star Wars plot, is it? About like...
Oh no, that's because Star Wars did like the big rehash with the like reboot.
I see what you mean. Yeah,
but like I don't think that's it.
No.
I think it's just like the same foibles.
Yeah. I think it's kind of beautiful that the Striking Vipers tier ended up being so diverse.
Yeah,
it's
like,
even, like,
genuinely.
We have 2 episodes from season 5, then season 7, season 3, and season 4. Like, season 1 and 2 came out very well here. Like, Waldo is the only one that places above Be Right Back tier.
Yeah, no, I maintain my theory that like Charlie Brooker like writes a set number of good episodes per season, and they just chose to make only the good ones with seasons 1 and 2.
Yeah, season 5 does not have a lot of episodes, and boy, does it go up there in this tier list. Yeah, you have 2 in Striking Vipers tier, 1 in Smithereens tier, and two season 5 episodes are what we've chosen to name these tiers off of, which really says something on its own, isn't it?
No, but it's better now, so that's nice.
Yeah. Let's hope that
may
continues.
season 8 be even better than season 7.
Amen.
And yeah, that is the end of our return to Black Mirror for now.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I'm glad we kind of ended up with a minor bell curve.
Yeah. Thank you for listening, and see you next week.
See you on the other side.